Now, the Seattle Seahawks, let's go from that to the NFL. They've got some really hard decisions to make. Mm-hmm. But
I don't think so.
I was going to say only if they overthink it.
Yes.
Because if they process this the way this should be processed, a 3-8 team that's going nowhere, that suddenly they went, what was it, 5 straight drives that were 3 and outs last night?
It was so
5.
Like, this game was hard to watch.
It was rough.
This felt like, we've said this before this season about some of these standalone games.
Yeah.
This one felt like a job trying to watch this game. Russell Wilson is, as good as he is, there's just not any, I don't want to say talent because that's insulting to some of the
That's
really
not true.
great
He's
talent.
got 2 good wide
That's
receivers.
Right. But it feels like it's not utilized well. Unless he's throwing deep balls down the field to Tyler or Metcalf, it just feels like, where's the offense? Like,
I don't know.
They don't run the ball at all.
Nope.
They're bottom of the league in rushing. I don't know where he is sacked wise relative to the rest of the league, and it'll be skewed because he obviously missed a month.
Yep.
But I mean,
he's always among the league leaders.
He's always among the league
48.
leaders.
Yep.
There's no energy on this team.
None.
And I know that Jamal Adams finally held on to an interception.
Because it came right through his breadband. It ricocheted into his head.
It was a tip drill that was 15 feet in the air. I just had to stand under it and catch it. But their defense doesn't even look dominating. He had a couple of good hits, a couple of good sticks, but I mean, it felt like Washington was doing whatever they wanted, and Washington's in it up. They get into the red zone, they can't score. They try to kick an extra point. The kicker, Darius Slay, pulls his hamstring, and then they got to go for 2 for the rest of the game.
And they went for it on 4th down a couple of times.
They had to.
Forget about just for the 2.
Yes.
They also went for it on 4th down. And by the way, you said it was like a job watching this game. Can I tell you what I watched a little bit during this game?
What's that?
The Sopranos. Because I'm actually rewatching The Sopranos, and there was no basketball that I had to really watch. This game was so
boring. Lots of basketball tonight.
Oh, I'm locked in. By the way, this guy's a Nets fan officially. He told me today.
Nets, Knicks, Suns, and
Golden State Warriors. Both teams playing great.
Basketball tonight.
Great basketball night. Last night was different.
Yes.
Last night we just had that slop. That's really all you had. And I was so bored by the game that I'm like, because I started rewatching The Sopranos, so I'm up to season 4, which happens to be a great series, a great season in my opinion, one of the better ones. And I'm like episode 5, and I had started, and I can't watch it when the kids are around, even if they're upstairs. Like the language and the scenes, I can't risk it. So they were in bed. I'm like, you know what, I was going to watch the remaining 20 minutes that I started watching the previous day or a couple days before. I'm like, I can't watch this game anymore. It was a muck fest. It was gross. Now, we started the segment by saying, if Seattle overthinks this, then it's a tricky situation. If they address this for what it is, a complete and utter rebuild, an offensive line that stinks, a quarterback who no longer desires to be there, no assets. Hey, listen, at least they've got the 4th overall pick coming up right now based on Tankathon. No, they don't. That's going to the Jets in the Jamal Adams trade. So, and even the monies are skewed because of what they gave Jamal Adams. They need to, first of all, Russell Wilson is a goner. Yep. There's no chance he's back next year.
That's right.
So, and he's going to make the decision for him. I think the only decision that they've got to make, what do they do with Pete Carroll?
That's a hard one.
And I ask you first.
That's a hard one.
What do you do?
I have such reverence for Pete Carroll because of how good he's been, and he's been there for a long time. Right, and
what was his first year?
First year with the Seattle was 2010.
Okay,
so he was with New York obviously for a season. Went 6-10, and then he was with the Patriots for 3 seasons. Then he went back to college for a decade, and obviously he was great in college.
And by the way, isn't it amazing? All the stops on his resume, the only place he didn't do well was with the Jets.
That's right.
Think about that.
That's
USC,
right.
back to being a factory. Seattle.
He was only there for a year.
Wins a championship. Well, do you know why he was only there for a year? Because they lost their last 5 games in a row. Right. That's 1994 with the fake spike with Dan Marino.
That's right.
When Aaron Glenn bit on the fake spike. Boomer was the quarterback.
That's right.
Our boy Boomer was QB.
Yeah, had a winning record in New England though. 10-6, 9-7, 8-8.
Then he goes to the Jets.
Then he goes to college, and then he comes back to the NFL. A couple of sub 500 seasons, and then Russell Wilson in 2012, and then it just changed the scenario. Right, it's 61 years old. He wins a Super Bowl in 2013. He's 62, and it just consistently been good. Double-digit wins for 3 of the next 5 seasons.
Yep.
Actually 5 of the next 6 seasons. 9-7, and double-digit wins up until this year. Right? He's just he's been so good. but he's 70 years old, and next year he's going to be 71. I'm not saying the game has passed him by because he's got so much energy, right? He projects as so much younger than he is, and like he's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's very exuberant.
He just looks the part, but I think it feels like it's time, and part of that is because his methodology of winning, which is let's just grind it out. Let's find a stout runner for a long time was Marshawn Lynch. They try to do it with Chris Carson this year, but it's
hurt every year. Chris Carson
been hurt every year, so they haven't found that next Marshawn. And why do you need that next Marshawn? Because Russ is elite when there's a Marshawn there, right? I mean, he's top of the top. He's elite anyways, but when there's a great run game, it's fantastic. Russell Wilson wants to throw the ball 60 times a game. Carroll wants to stay back in the 90s. The run the ball, play great defense, and they just don't have it. And so there's going to be a strip down. They have to do it, right? And you might as well do it from top to bottom.
Yeah, the only thing I'm debating is whether or not it's a 1 or a 2-part strip down. Yeah. One of those parts is gone. Russell Wilson's going to be on a different team next year. You can take that to the bank. Russell Wilson's gone. The only thing that I think that they really need to determine, it's not going to be easy, because I think Pete probably wants to stay, unlike Russ, who's going to want out if he doesn't already want. He wanted out last year. He's going to want to stay when they're 3-8. They're going to probably win one more game the rest of the year. They stink. So Russ will be gone, and with Pete, it's going to be tough, but due to the lack of assets, the draft equity, a new quarterback, complete overhaul, I just think it's the best time to rip off the Band-Aid. It's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
That scab is still going to be there. It's not going to be smooth. There's no guarantee you hire the right successor. I mean, you're getting away from somebody who's been great, who's carved out an NFL Hall of Fame career.
No doubt.
And the next move can be Ray Handley, like the Giants after Parcells or Reeves. You don't know what's coming, but I think it's time to find out. I really do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, T.
Only because it's an opportune time to do it. Like there won't be. This team is still relatively young, right?
Are they
on defense? On defense, there's
Bobby
a lot
Wagner's
of young.
Been around a little bit now.
He's only 31. It feels like he's been around for a long time, and probably he's not that
31.
same guy anymore. But Jamal Adams is only 26. Quadri Diggs is only 28. DJ Reed, who actually made some good plays last night. Got into that head-to-head with Antonio Gibson on the sideline. But they both just kind of stood up. He challenged him, right? He's got a cornerback who's willing to challenge him. He's only 25. Sidney Jones, the other quarterback, he's only 20. So they're actually young. And so there's hope for the future that defensively maybe they get okay. Like they get good. But is Pete Carroll the one to lead them there? That's what I don't know. And so while there is some hope, like there's some glimmers of this guy could be pretty good, this guy could be pretty good, they're not winning anytime soon.
And that division's not going to deteriorate anytime soon.
That's right. Because, I mean, they play San Francisco. This week? Maybe it's next week they play San Francisco. No, they play San Francisco.
I think it's this week.
It's this week.
It is.
It's a Sunday night game.
Okay.
So Sunday night against San Francisco, it's at home, so they have a home field advantage. But I can't imagine the 12th man out of CenturyLink is going to be excited for welcome a 3-8 team.
Even that doesn't seem as raucous as it once was.
You're right. I mean, because the cheer is not there, right? The success isn't there. So it feels like it's headed towards a rebuild, but it's just hard because Pete Carroll has so much cachet.
He does. Where's Russell Wilson playing next year? Give me a quick answer.
New York.
I think the Giants are going to make a strong move for him. I do, and I think they should.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.